Okay, slight change of plan on this video. So I was going to show the whole lot of replacing brakes on a bike if you want to reuse the hoses. The reason you might want to reuse the hoses are it might be internally routed or whatever, but things went wrong, and to be honest, in the end I just basically let the fluid just drain out of everywhere, all over various towels that were strategically placed. So at the moment we have the brake lines, they're all free. There's probably still a bit of fluid in them, but yeah, that'll all come out during the bleed process anyway. So what we're going to do is pop the calipers on next. So this is the new brake that's going on there. So this is the first caliper. It is Shimano XT M8120 full pot. You also get a bag of stuff. Best thing to do is bag of stuff at the moment is probably just put it as far away from you as possible until you've bled everything out. Right, take 4. So the bolt that holds the banjo bit of the hydraulic hose into the caliper is different between the M8000 2-pot and the M8120 4-pot. So you have to replace that, which I'm about to do now. Make sure you don't lose the washers off the banjo. Right, not as attractive as before obviously, but bolt is in, so we're now going to insert the caliper on through that hole. Like so. Don't do it uber tight, just enough to nip it up. You don't want to be damaging the caliper. Right, so now we're going to put the brake lever on for the front brake. Now, this being a UK spec bike, we're putting the lever on the correct side or the right side, depending on how you want to say it. Like so. Now, just bear in mind I've put this in what we're going to call the bleed position for the moment. Obviously the whole readjustment of the brakes and levers will happen at the end. I'm just going to do exactly the same now, but with the rear. Won't show you that. And this is the rear. So again, the lever bit on the correct side because it's a British bike, and brakes hanging at the moment. So next, bleed. Okay, so I've had some lunch before my next trick, which is obviously bleeding these things. So I'm just going to go with the traditional sort of gravity and suck method. So we'll mount the Shimano funnel here and fill that with fluid. You need to be careful when you're throwing them on, and I'll show what it looks like in a moment. I need to keep my hands free. And then I'm going to pull against a syringe connected to the rear caliper. So what I'll do is I'll loosen the nut, I'll suck the fluid through. When it goes clean, when it looks like there's enough fluid in there, we'll cap it off, we'll squeeze the lever a few times, and then we'll call it a bleed. So I'm gonna first of all level the bike out, level the levers out, put the funnel on, put some fluid in, and then we'll come back to the video. Right, so this is the funnel on. I've probably slightly overfilled it, but it's all about to drop through the system anyway. So I'm now going to attach the syringe, and we'll start pulling it through. So that's the syringe on, so I'm just going to pull back on it now. If I pop that there, you might be able to see it. If I put one of those pedals there, who knows? Anyway, you might be able to see this. But as you see, I'm just sort of... The important thing here is as you're pulling back on the syringe, is that you just make sure that the pot is not running dry at all. And I've got the fluid running. Do this until basically you've got the bubbles out, so it starts running without bubbles, and then once you've done that, close off the bleed nipple, and then return over to the lever. So we've closed off the valve this side now. We've come over to the funnel, and what you want to do is you just want to very gently just squeeze the lever every so often, not rapidly or anything, just until there's no bubbles, and we're all good. What you want to do then is you want to loosen the lever, lean it forward a bit, do the same, lean it back, do the same burping action. But once you've done that, the bleed is done, pop the bung back into the lever, pop the screw in wherever I've put that. This is great, isn't it? I've got to try and find that now. And so once you've done that, it's move on to the next one. Basically, that's done. You can put the pads in the back if you want at that point. So I've just done the front exactly the same way as the back. So before we go any further, basically wash everything down. Wash down your tools, wash down the calipers, the levers, and anything that may have come into contact with brake fluid using isopropyl alcohol. And then we move on to putting in discs and putting the wheels back on. So I keep trying to find my GoPro. I keep putting it down somewhere. Tools I'll put down wherever I need to, but the GoPro I keep losing. Anyway, so as you can see here, I've doused all this stuff with alcohol. I cleaned all the levers and the calipers off with alcohol. So the next thing to do is just basically take this bleed box out and put the brakes in, the brake pads in. I'm going to change the disc on the front wheel. So we're going to put a 203 in there, but before we do that, we're going to clean that rotor as well. So I'm going to clean this rotor with some isopropyl alcohol, dry it off, and then we're going to chuck these pads in. So these are, as I say, these are centre lock discs. So using a bottom bracket tool, just going to remove. Now I probably need to put the camera down because I don't want to take my fingers off. Yeah, I'm definitely going to put the camera down. There we go. It takes about 2 minutes when you've got both hands free. Centre lock is so much easier, to be honest. Just pop it on, pop the ring on, that's it. So now we've done the brake disc. Now the fork will support 180mm disc. So to go up to 203 we need a post adapter. Now this should be a 180 to 203 post mount adapter. So we're going to put this on now with the caliper. We're going to put the wheel on, and then we're going to look at caliper alignment. Okay, so the caliper's on. It's loose enough to go side to side, but not up and down. That's what you want for the moment whilst we adjust this. In terms of bolting this arrangement up, if you're using these cup and cone, so bolt, cup, cone, caliper, bracket. If you're threading into fox forks, you really can't be careful enough when threading these in. You can actually lose the threads in the fork quite easily, and then you have to re-tap the fork, which is an absolute pain in the arse. So what we're going to do now is we're going to pop the pads in, we're going to pop the wheel on, and we're going to align the caliper. Okay, so as you can see, the wheel's on now. I've actually put the brake discs in as well. So what we're going to do now is align the caliper using, because I'm going to cheat, one of these Bursman Caliper Alignment tools. You basically just slide it in, and it gives you that little bit of gap. Tighten your calipers up, jobs are good in. Do make sure you wash these things in alcohol, because the last thing you want after all this effort to try and not contaminate anything is that you use one of these things and you contaminate everything. So I'm just going to slide that in. So I'm just going to eloquently swap hands, because obviously the rotor's on, well, the caliper's on my right. So I'm going to slide this on, slide the wheel round, just sort of fettle the everything you need whilst you're moving that in. Oh, on your bastard. Right, I'm going to need some hands, but basically I'll come back as soon as this is... Oh, hold on, if I just do that way. Oh, cut myself, but we'll get there. If I use a clean Allen kit, can I podge this round? Yeah. Don't have to put the camera down. I'm bloody genius. Probably have to put it down for the next bit because I don't my arms are long enough. So now that's in. Grab our 5mm wherever I put that, and you want to just pull the brake very slightly. So I'm just going to do that, and while you're doing that, tighten the bolts basically. So I've just done the Caliper Alignment. I've just tightened up the calipers, and you can hear there's a slight rub. Basically the disc is obviously slightly out of true, so I'm going to true that up. Effectively I'll just use a adjustable wrench, and then we'll give that another go. And now we've done the straightening out of the caliper, oh sorry, the disc. No noise whatsoever. So I'm just going to sort out this cable because it looks a bit stretched, and we'll tighten up the bolts to torque, and then we'll do it. Basically the back's the same, I'm not going to show that, but back is exactly the same, and job's good. Thank you.